you that. I went back in my line and realized that that was something that had to be healed. There was like almost like a curse on my family line of the women being in love triangles, and that the women in my line were the ones that got ignored or shunned, and I had to be the one to clear that. So it gets very, very personal, very, very specific if you desire to go into that place. So that's a really good question. Do you have a follow-up question you want to ask for that, or you're welcome to?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, good one. Okay, so Phil, along with ancestral work, how prevalent is past life experiences that may or may not be connected to direct line ancestors has potential stuck energy in this lifetime? Okay, I'm going to make sure I understand the question. How prevalent is past life experiences that may or may not be connected to direct line ancestors?
Yeah, so I have memories of past life stuff. One
Yes.
of them is a Black Civil War soldier I have very clear recollection of. And so along with ancestral work, I get the piece about how we're all intricately connected in the context of oneness, and that their unfinished business gets passed on to us. And so I've been out to India 7 times. I've done fire homas specifically for ancestral work. And I've done a lot of work in that area, and it's really helped me out personally a lot, because as I heal my personal stuff, as I allow the healing from ancestral stuff to happen, I benefit, and there's a win-win on both sides. But what I have a sense too of is like this past memory of a Black Civil War soldier. Some really horrendous stuff happened, and I actually died in the Civil War with a bayonet wound to my right side of my gut, and I even have a scar that is a appendix scar, but it looks like a bayonet scar. It's way higher than where normal appendix scars are. So there seems to be some kind of connection. I'm curious as to how relevant it is in comparison to ancestral work and ancestral trauma and wounding that happened. Like, can I consider that past life as an ancestor, even though I was a Black Civil War soldier?
Yeah, I would say that it's extremely prevalent and extremely important for you to have that on your radar. I'd say that it'd probably be paramount for you to go that direction as far as you get to go on it, because it's coming up for you, and the question is here and now. So in my mind, in my experience, it is an invitation for you to go deep into that. And you might even be a bushwhacker in the consciousness. You might be the one leading that effort, writing a book about that yourself. This is how far do you want to take that? Because it is, you're connecting the dots, Phil. You're connecting the dots of like, now hold on a second. It's not just, here's my father's line and here's my mother's line, and it takes me there and there. No, you're saying, hold on a second. It's actually way bigger, and I have these memories. In my experience, those memories of your past life would not be coming up unless it was incredibly important that they do. Because we only have this many hours of our waking consciousness. So in that consciousness, if you're thinking about it for even like 15 minutes, which probably it's been longer than that, like that's something to pay attention to. And so let me just ask you, is that something that you are paying attention to? That's something that you already know that you're being led to do?
Actually, I haven't done much in that area. I just have the memory of this one clear past life that I had. And I've always been attracted to Civil War stuff. I actually, when I was in Virginia, it was in Atlanta. I was actually led to a cemetery for Civil War soldiers. I was led to a particular grave, and it was weird because my GPS led me to it. I didn't even have the address.
Yeah. Oh, Phil. I mean, Phil, you're being so led, like physically led, spiritually led. I'm very excited for you. One of the things that I'm learning about the ancestral line is our experience of it, and what we've been taught is very limited to what really is. So for example, for those who know they've had past lives, I just learned about myself that I have been the matriarch of my ancestral line in a past life. Now that blew my mind. how did I go before them, and now they're going, and now I'm here, and now I get to remember this thing before. I mean, wow, that's way different than just this genealogy tree. That's a place to begin. But as shamans, as spiritual healers, we are not subscribing only to time and distance and physical natural laws. This is ancestors, this is family, this is human family, this is past lives existing simultaneously with present lives. It's very exciting. So I definitely would say, you know, being in that place of humility and saying, I'm open, I'm ready to be expanded outside of anything I've ever learned about what a past life even really is. All of it is brand new and exciting. And most likely, I'll just reiterate what I said to Jean Marie, is this journey that you're about to go on is very relevant to things that are surfacing and you're suffering from in the spirit of who you are as Phil. So doing so is very mutually beneficial.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, because we have just the two of you, anything else that comes up, you're welcome to share whatever feels inspiring for you to share. You can share something or ask another question. And
well, Jean Marie's turn, so I don't want to hog it. So if she has something.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your journey, about your interest, your where are you at next, Jean Marie? Are you already speaking with your ancestors, or is this brand new for you?
I learned how to journey about a year ago, and I just became a Reiki master. So all of that is about a year and a half, years old. I've been on a spiritual path for about 10 years. I retired as a high school counselor last year. But there's always been many more layers that I knew were important that I, wanted to connect to. So, I don't know. I work with a shamanic counselor, and she helped work with me to heal some ancestral issues that had come up. And that was really interesting. When I do journey, I don't really know how to connect with my ancestors, though.
Okay, that's great. And that's a desire you have, is to connect with them? Okay, well, let me give you a couple just general, both of you, some general strategies that worked for me, and you can take what works for you and leave the rest. When I was first beginning to open up, I realized that, first of all, ancestors are people. So they're not God in the way of my ancestors know everything. They make mistakes. They don't know everything. They have their own agendas. They push boundaries that you have to set. I mean, this is just people. So basically you're inviting a lot of friends to come in and a lot of collaborators. But it's very important that you know that you are the sovereign, strong person who's the leader, the leader of this energy and this force, and saying, okay, everybody's welcome to come in, and you're going to have your boundaries up. You're going to say, I'm not ready to do that part, and I'm ready to, go this way, and don't bother me about this. And I mean, this is just like, they're people. And that's been really useful, because I've had places where I'm like, I thought you were good. You gave me wrong information. Well, they're people, and they're on the evolutionary path themselves, and they are interested in being useful and helpful, but I'm not going to give them all my power. So that's important. So in that same spirit, they do have a whole other perspective that I don't have, because I'm human. So I wanted to make sure that my ancestors knew that I was very serious about having a relationship with them. So I used the same patterns that I would use as I am human. And this is a tool that I did. I made an appointment with my ancestors, with my angels, once a week on Tuesday at 8 p.m. And I set my alarm, and I said, very committed to our relationship and I want to show up for you. And I want to show you that I'm serious. So every Tuesday at 8 p.m., I intend to meet you wherever I am. And you can give me any message. You may not have anything, but every week, you know that I'm going to show up. So it came up in things like if I was in the grocery store, I had my little alarm go off on my phone and I would stop in the grocery store and I had my little angel book that I would just stop for a second and I just write down anything that came because I was showing accountability. I was showing that I was very serious. And sometimes nothing came at all, but at least I showed up. There was one time I was on a date and I had to excuse myself to go to the bathroom and just, right. And it was only like, 5-6 minutes. One time I had to stop the car I was driving and these are small moments where I get to say, I'm very serious about building a relationship with you. So when you say, you're just about to learn how to open up that channel and talk to them, really it comes down to showing up, because then anything can come through. You just cleared everything so that you have a potential to receive messages.
Could there be ancestors that are harmful to you?
Yes, because people can be. Yes. So you'll find your own way of how to navigate that. I have a lot of experience with that, actually. and the best overall guideline is that no one can ever do any harm enough that you are separated from the light and who you really are. So like, it's all just, people. It's people and relationships. But yes, there has been times where I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now? And it's the way that you learn. It's the way that you learn. That was a great question.
So with all that you do with making an intention of establishing relationship with your ancestors and doing this thing on Tuesday night, has any entity distinguished themselves from any others?
Definitely. Oh, yes.
Can you share about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I have an angel team now of, they vacillate, but about 8 people. My great-great-great-grandfather and his wife, we have been on a journey. Did you get the link to the documentary that I was in? I can send you guys the link.
Yeah, send it to me again. I've been juggling a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, so that documentary highlights my journey with those 2 individuals. And I was doing something very particular for them. And so they also wanted to, in return, help me. So we have been on a journey for like 17 years together. They are very solid. Then there are people like my great-grandfather who just needed to come in for a few months and he committed suicide. And so he was in a very, very dark place. And so this was a few years ago. He came in and we had just an interaction of about 3-4 months. Then he came back a year later. And so I recognized his imprint. I'm like, oh, I know you. And that was it. I haven't seen him since because the healing happened. So they come in maybe just for a little bit and then they leave. And yeah, it's been really fun. So how do let's see, I might at the end of the call send you that link and I'll put the link in here for you.
Okay, thank you.
Let me tell you, that's such a good question. One of the things, the reason why I say at the beginning, I had a little prayer about I'm not a martyr to my calling is, let me just share, you can only imagine the extent of the pain and the suffering and the turmoil that all of our ancestors have experienced. And that could go on forever. That's all you could do the rest of your life is help heal your ancestors and do nothing else. So we don't want that experience, or at least I don't want that experience. So I can't be like, oh, I'm the healer of the whole family line. I say yes to it all. Oh, this means that all I ever can do is just heal. No, that's not what I've decided to do. And so, for example, right now, this is a hot off the press as of last night. I'm doing a very particular thing for my ancestors, for about 150 of them right now. And my highest self came in and said, Emily, you're going to do this one a little differently, because you're not going to have specific faces. You're going to do a collective healing journey. And this journey is going to take a minute for sure. But there's no reason for any of them to come forward and let you know exactly who they are, because what you're doing specifically right now is a collective generational healing. So there's going to be times where you're going to have a specific person like my great-grandfather, and then there's going to be times where it's going to be just I'm here and I'm embodying the healing in the name of the family.
Yeah, it's interesting. My grandfather committed suicide, raging alcoholic, at about the time my mother conceived me. And one of the first things I experienced in India was called the Four Baskets, which is a rebirthing process, because in the Four Baskets, from conception all the way to birth, they're separated in those areas. There is energetic developmental processes that the infant goes through in the womb. And let's just say my Four Baskets got pretty screwed up, because everything that went through my mother went through me as a fetus. With the abandonment, betrayal, anger, confusion, all of that. And that was one huge piece that really messed up my baskets, that had me think not so highly of myself. And the other one was actually both of my parents had me. I was the firstborn of 4 kids. They were staunch Catholics, so prior to them getting married, so I came into the world as a sin. So let's just say my 4 baskets got really kind of scawampus starting out.
My goodness.
And, you know, as far as my grandfather goes, a lot of the initial work I did was with him, because he was wrapped up in a very dark place and suffered from major depression and anger and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's no accident that I, as a youth, all the way into adulthood, struggled with those same things. Also, at moments, at 21, I was a year and a half sober in AA as a teenage alcoholic. I tried to take my life, almost succeeded. And there were a couple other instances over my lifetime that thought form had a really strong hold on me. So yeah, I'm definitely the beneficiary of doing some work in this area.
Yeah.
And I just sent you a message that is probably be my last question, but
okay.
If you could respond to that, that would help out a lot.
Okay, let's see. How do you toe the fine line of being in the energy of joy and fun when dealing with some energies that are very heavy, with some deep trauma energies? That's the best question ever. I'm going to share my experience. Two parts of that answer. It is a moment-to-moment choice. So actually 3 parts. It's a moment-to-moment choice. When I talk about joy, I am not talking about la 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 la, happy, happy, I'm just so happy, oh my gosh. No, joy to me means feeling all of my feelings.
Yeah.
I am miserable right now. I hate this, and I'm expressing it. And that feels so authentic, and that's where my joy lies. So tears and snot, and I hate this, and staying in bed for 3 days. I mean, these are all part of my greatest joy. This is my definition of joy. And the third part of my answer is I have experimented with other ways of doing the work, and none of them are as powerful. I've experimented with casting out evil spirits. Doesn't work, at least in my experience, of that the greatest way to rid myself of an evil spirit is to love that spirit so much and embrace it and ask it to come to dinner. Come eat with me. You're welcome here. I love you. Let me send you more love. I'm not afraid of you. Nothing you can do can harm me, so I can see that you're wounded. And you know, I'm talking about spirits out there, but also what you're talking about is that trauma energy within myself. And those are some dark, dark places to go. And I'm still learning how to cultivate even more of a depth with that, because that's the work, right? We're going into the deepest, darkest, and shining lights on there. But my experience is, when I'm in the darkest shadows of myself, I look for that light, and there's my little, flashlight, like, oh yeah, no other tool works as lovely as my joy and my authentic feeling of this. I'm scared. I'm really terrified. I can't stand this. I'm tired. I'm exhausted, and I don't want to do this anymore. Authentic, authentic, authentic. And that's my light. And then there's my joy, and there's my love. Is I don't want to do there's nothing else for me to do besides this. I want to do this work. I got nowhere else to go. I got nothing else to do besides this. That's as fulfilling and joyful as this. So those are
how do you make it fun?
Okay, other great question. Well, someone just walked in, so I had to acknowledge that person. So Phil, the best questions ever. Okay, my most honest answer is I take time to cultivate my relationship with my inner child. Okay, I do everything in the whole wide world to know that she's the most important voice that I possibly have inside of me. Adult Emily knows nothing compared to my sweet little Emily inside of me. And if she can make a game out of the big dark dragons and the scary monsters, I trust her. So she makes it fun. She's someone I listen to. And if I feel disconnected to little sweet inner child Emily, I better not go into those shadows yet. I better wait until I'm in a good place with her. And then we can go in there and be like, okay, let's play a game. Let's play a game of scary monsters coming to get me. And so that I know that I'm going to be okay. She's my power within myself. So
that's awesome. Great responses. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Jean Marie, do you have any other things you want to share?
Yes, I meant to email you after the other program, because I know you mentioned those physical symptoms that you're having, and you may know this already, but I just wanted to make sure you're aware of the medical medium, Anthony William.
Oh yeah, the book's right there.
Okay, and, I have my books here too.
Oh girl, you're my girl right now. Boy, I am doing the cleanses round 1. I'm on round 4 of my cleanse. Are you doing it? Is that something you're doing?
I've been doing it. I do like 80% of his program. I've done it for a year, and I have done the like the metals
Yep.
smoothie and all that stuff, but I haven't done the 5 to 7 day cleanse yet, because I don't know, I just haven't done it yet, but it's on my list.
Okay, if you decide to do it, I'll give you my number, and I'm ready to cheer you on, because everybody deserves support in doing it, because it brings up so many emotions, and it's not just physical. And so I'll seriously just let you know, like, I cannot be more supportive of you doing it. It's the 9-day cleanse.
Yeah.
And holy cow, I'm so excited for you. So thank you so much for making sure that I know about that. Okay. Oh yeah. This Cleanse to Heal book, I've read, it's about 500 pages. I've read every single page, and I'm about to read the next, actually, it's my 3rd book I'm about to read. So yay.
You know, he has a liver.
Oh, can you give me some more information on this? I'm actually doing cleanses myself right now.
All right. Here's his website, medicalmedium.com. That's a place to start. What?
He's so awesome. He has all these free podcasts and everything.
Yes. You can get the books from the library, Phil. That's what I did. So you don't have to you're not investing in anything that, like, he doesn't have a program or any like supplements that you have to buy. It's just fruits and vegetables, really. But he explains so
well, that's
much.
Perfect. I just became a vegetarian.
Oh my gosh.
That works right in.
Okay. Yes. So this is a short little thing because what I don't want to overwhelm. What I wanted for this is for you to feel like you have an arrow to where you go next. And so do you both feel like you have an arrow of where you want to go next?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Are you, this is just because I'm a mentor, I have to do this. Are you committing? Would you like to make a commitment to yourself of what that looks like? What would be the arrow that you want to commit to? I mean, you don't have to tell me what it is, but are you going to commit to yourself to take a next step? It's a mentor of me. I can't help but do it. Otherwise, well, it's just a nice time to get to know each other. But tell me about what that looks like for you.
And Phil.
Both of you. Phil, go first.
So for me, it's simply stepping into making a higher level of commitment to myself with being more compassionate and kind to myself.
Okay.
Because that translates into compassion and kindness for my ancestors. Because as far as I'm concerned, they're all part of me.
Heck yeah.
And so I'm just, everything that's gone on in my life has made it very clear that for me, this is the next step. So part of that is doing this cleanse work. I know the corresponding result of doing physical cleanses with food also clears out the energy body, and it's very much in alignment with most religions talking about doing fasts. And so I have a friend here. We're going to start, I think, a 5-day fast too, dealing with organic apple cider, apple vinegar, and
yeah, read Medical Medium first. We're not going to tell you what to do, but we both happen to know a little bit about apple cider vinegar. But honestly,
is there an issue with that? Pray tell. Give me some insight. I've never done it before.
Okay, so before you just basically, I'm very, very careful in telling anyone what to do. You'll do what's best for you.
No, just tell me your experience.
Okay, well, possibly just go. I can send you. We're friends on Facebook too. I'll send you the link to the podcast that Anthony William does about apple cider vinegar. It's really great.
He's not pro for it.
Well, it's really great externally, but not internally. It kind of pickles your organs.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the way that people are doing it, it's like this big fad, and people aren't doing it healthily. And just to let you know, I did that for years. So that's my experience.
What was your result with it when you did it you used oil too, right? Some kind of oil.
Yeah.
To draw out the toxins.
All of this is a whole other conversation. It doesn't even matter what my results are because you're the different body. So it doesn't even matter. So I'll send you that if you're interested, and you can do what you like with it.
Yes, please. Absolutely.
All right, so you are going to be more compassionate, and you were more extensive in your answer. That's perfect. Jean Marie, tell me about you. You don't have to tell me what it actually is unless you want to, but I'm curious what your next arrow looks like.
I'm going to make more of a commitment to journeying on a regular basis. So I do Reiki every day, but the journeying, I want to incorporate, like I do it a couple times a week, but I want to do more. And I want to include my ancestors. I like the idea of the meeting time.
You do? Good.
Cool. Yeah.
Good. It's fun. One of the ancestors, she wasn't actually my direct line, but it was Empress Victoria, who was Queen Victoria's daughter. And so I was taking Empress lessons from her. That was the Tuesday at 8:00. Yeah. Every Tuesday at 8:00, because she was an empress. I got to be with an empress and learn how to be my own empress of my life. So there's a lot of potential of exciting things. And then I actually did a YouTube video series of what I learned from that year with Empress Victoria. So lots of exciting things if you decide to open up and commit to that.
Thank you.
I'm excited for both of you. I appreciate you showing up for your ancestors today and have the chance to meet with you today. It's been great.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Yay. All right. Well, definitely know that I'm available if you have any other questions, and who knows where I'm going next with this. Just letting you both know I'm available for you.
Okay. Thank you.
You.
All right. Have a good evening.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.